Hi, I'm Kyle,
And my name's Brendan.
and this is Offended.
Today we're going to talk about feminism.
Essentially, it might have been beaten like a dead horse, but it's like the maggots that are still sitting inside it, eating the carcass away, because it's endless. So, we're going to start out with what feminism began with in the definition of feminism. The definition of feminism is the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of sexes. It is not that anymore. Now it is essentially the degradation and deterioration of society and trying to kill the male gender altogether. With that being said, we have a couple topics we want to really divulge into.
One thing I kind of want to get off my chest is talking about objectification and how women think that they're objectified. The thing about objectification is it's almost a made-up word that doesn't even exist in almost any context that it's put into. Most of the time it's their fault that they're being objectified. Like if you're a porn star and you think that you're objectified, you're fucking retarded because
Damn right, you are fucking objectified. People love to jack off to you. It's plain and simple. Your job is to make people come. Literally, just people showing you that you are attractive. Like, even if it happens into a normal context, you're walking down the street and someone just looks at you. I understand catcalling can get fucking annoying. It can happen to anybody. I've been hit on by gay dudes. This guy's been hit on by gay dudes. We've both had it happen. Girls have hit on us both. That aren't necessarily our style. I'm sorry. I don't feel that way about you. You don't have to get all upset. Who cares? Take it as a compliment. Walk it off.
like unless you're held up in like a sex dungeon where people rape you all day, then you're not being objectified because the only way you'd be being objectified if you're forced against your will to be basically seen as an object where they strip you of your humanity and basically make you into a shallow husk of a human being.
Or slave traders. I mean, there are sexual slave traders today in the society, and those are the people who literally objectify individuals. We do not regularly go out and go, God damn, that girl's hot. I'm just gonna kidnap her and take her back to my place tonight. She's gonna be tied to the radiator. I'm gonna grape her all goddamn night. No, that's not a real thing. I'm sorry. It doesn't happen. Most of us don't think that way.
The feminist hive mind seems to think that that's how all men are. That's just a misrepresentation. The only person that can view you as an object is you.
In the perfect situation of what I view a feminist thinking they're going to outcome with what they're doing is an episode of Rick and Morty, the Gazorpazorp episode, where when they go to the Gazorpazorp planet, all the women have created this planet for themselves. It just gets so out of hand, and they just think all men are primates who just want to fight and beat each other up and then have sex all the time. That's just not true. We enjoy quality time with our friends, with our lovers, with our family as much as everybody else, and we're not trying to brutally fight each other all the time and rape each other. I'm sorry, that's not real.
But culture is what creates this divisive mentality about everything, basically. And just by breaking us down into these groups and these stereotypes of what a human can be, it devalues who we are as people.
We are all individuals. We all have separate mentalities. No matter what your weird feminist SJW hive mind has you collaborating with, does not necessarily mean every single thing that one of them says is what you agree with. It is even completely obvious by the notion that some feminists deviate from, oh, you're showing too much skin. Oh, it's free the nipple, free the nipple. That's too fucking much. You guys deviate so goddamn much. Decide on what you guys actually are fighting for and fight for it. Otherwise, just break up. Just break up the band. Because, to be honest, not too many people are buying your music anyways.
And it's kind of like I was saying about the whole dissenting opinion thing. It's like, especially with the transgender movement, where they've even gotten as forceful as trying to enact laws that would basically make you have to refer to people's stupid fucking pronouns.
If you were telling me that I have to call you Zer or Gee or whatever the fuck else you want to create in your own goddamn mind, you are actually taking away my free speech. And that is wrong. It is the First Amendment. One of the first legislative pieces of the Declaration of Independence is free speech. So when you tell me I have to refer to you by Gee, Zer, Zira, if you are a trans person switching from a man to a woman, I will be happy to call you her. If you are switching from a woman to a man, I will be happy to call you him. But do not ask me to call you Zergy or whatever else. When you can perform mitosis on yourself, I will call you whatever the fuck you want. You have just created a whole new subgenre of human being. I would love to see that, but it's not gonna happen. No matter how hard you think about it, I'm going to create another one of me from me. Watch me split in two. It's just not gonna happen, okay?
And all of our opinions are completely arbitrary because we can't break all of our decisions down on the quantum level to actually know for 100% certain that those opinions are correct.
Okay, so one of these issues that I'd really like to talk about is manspreading. It's really the biggest non-issue of all time because let's get down to the clear and obvious. Men are bigger than women. And one of the key issues why we take up a little bit more space, and it's not a whole lot of space, we don't open our legs so wide that you can't sit the fuck down. We take up a little bit more space because it's good posture to have your shoulders in alignment with your knees. So when you're sitting down, yeah, we take up a little bit more space. But so do you fuckers with your goddamn 16 bags. Okay? So what the fuck you want me to do? You want me to be like, oh, let me just curtsy for you. I'm gonna put my legs over top of each other so you can put your 12 bags beside me and take up all the room. Okay, you got it.
And balls, that's also a big thing.
Let's go straight on to mansplaining.
I mean, the big thing about mansplaining is usually the criticism is that men might be talking down to a woman, and I'm using air quotes here. They just don't like what you're saying. They don't agree with what your views are, so then they just view it as being sexist.
And the sad thing is, you can go as deep as science or it can go as low as a television show with mansplaining. And it doesn't have to be condescending whatsoever. It's just they don't want to hear you. They clearly want to tune you out. By the end of it, they're angry, they're pissed off, and I think half of it is just because you're a man. It doesn't have to be the fact that you're speaking factually or you're speaking arrogantly. It's purely the thought that you are a man that just makes them want to ferry some shit up in their brain and just be like, he's mansplaining! Kill him!
Now to talk about safe spaces.
A big key with safe spaces is I don't care where the fuck you are in this world, whether you are in one of the nicer or first world, you will not find a fucking safe space. There are cuckoos out there that try to murder people. It doesn't matter whether you're in a small town or in a big city. You have to deal with it, whether they're men, women, whether they're creed or race, it doesn't fucking matter. They are crazy and they will kill you. Same thing goes with the internet. There are trolls everywhere. Welcome to Troll City should be the first thing you see when you click on Google. So, with that in mind, I would love to know where this safe space is. I could hide away for years. Okay? I live in Redneckville. There's not a goddamn safe space around here. Those motherfuckers, you walk on their goddamn property, they will shoot you. They don't care.
The thing about safe spaces is if you believe in safe spaces, you don't believe in free speech. Because everything about safe spaces goes against free speech. Because when you believe in safe spaces, you don't believe in sharing opinions, other people having different opinions than yours. It's impossible to protect yourself from any kind of criticism or physical violence. It can happen to you while you're walking down the street. There's no safe space that's going to protect you from some rabid homeless guy that's going to come up behind you and stab you with a broken wine bottle and then steal your wallet.
Or wants to eat your face.
Yeah, there's no safe spaces. It doesn't exist. It's just a bullshit made up word by feminists and SJWs in general to try to limit free speech of other individuals that don't agree with them.
But back kind of to sexual harassment, some people take it a little too far. Like, I understand if there's somebody at work or if there's somebody in your life that comes up and touches you or gropes you or even like persistently makes sexual advances on you, even though that you tell them you are not into them that way. That's sexual harassment. But what Zarna Joshi did to the so-called humongous guy, that's not sexual harassment. That's a fucking dad joke. Calm the hell down. And if you are getting upset about dad jokes, please go shoot yourself up with some heroin because you're obviously way too sensitive and you need to take a nap for a while. Preferably a really, really, really long one that puts you in the ground later.
You can't go calling people sexual harassers for saying puns.
In that case, if he would have been like, hey, suck my dick, bitch. Yeah, get down on the ground. Yeah, that's sexual harassment. She would have all rights to call that out. But no, he just made a simple dad joke.
And the thing about sexual harassment is it's a two-way street. Both men and women can do it. I mean, obviously, it definitely happens more against women, and I mean that is a fact, sadly. But it also happens to men, and it's totally unavoidable. And you can't blame that on all men because a few are radicals.
Every single time a man brings up something that has happened to him, being rape, sexual harassment, they want to just be like, oh, whatever. You're privileged. You're not oppressed just because you're a white male. You're not oppressed. I'm sorry. The only people who technically aren't oppressed in this country are the people who can grease other people's pocket.
Like anybody that lives in a Western society is privileged in some sense. And I mean, it's not even worth talking about privilege because basically everyone that would argue about privilege in the United States is privileged. So it's a non-issue in my opinion because just talking about it is frivolous. It makes no sense.
I've met a lot of people who are not from this country, and almost every single one of them has told me they are happier to be here than anywhere else. A lot of them came from Africa, from India, from the Middle East. Some of them came from Europe and even say that they're happier to be here. You know why did they say that? They said they feel less oppressed. Please stop saying that everyone is oppressed. Not everyone actually experiences warlords in Africa, fucking class system of India. That being said,
next week we're going to talk about veganism.
So we'll see you next week.